and I'm excited to be introduced to yet another author I was unaware of, which is like, how did that happen? Author DL Tillery here, the Mistress of Horror, and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, but you press that subscribe button, ring that bell, so you know when I'm uploading new videos. Welcome back to my channel. I have an announcement if you couldn't tell from the title of the video. It is that time again for the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge, led by Regina St. Clair over at the Haunted Library. This is done in a collaboration of Regina heading the helm. I am a co-host along with Regina, Aphrodite Lee, E.D. Lewis, Dahlia D. Winters, and the lovely Elizabeth Sagewood. So we are all going to be doing the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge this year, which I'm extremely excited about. And the lighting shows you that. I wanted to give you a little red heartbeat going on for this video. Now, I'm going to let you know the books that I plan to read for the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge. We have 8 prompts this year, and the 8th prompt is the book cover with us featured on it as a Gothic romance novel, which we did do this last year as well. That was more of the fun extra part. It wasn't necessarily a prompt, but this time it is. We don't have a movie in it this time. So we have 7 books to read. We have 7 category book prompts. And the 8th is to make the cover of yourself featured, which I'm excited about. Hence why I made multiple. I couldn't help myself. If anyone knows me here, they know that I have a book cover problem. But now featuring myself, I, in the past, have been a model, and I am also a retired professional dance artist. So I have a lot of material to work with for photo shoots, and I still do my own photo shoots sometimes. So I'm always excited to do something like feature myself on a book cover. I mean, maybe in the future I will just use myself as a model anyway. One never knows. Before I jump into my book picks, I should say what the Gothic Heart Reading Challenge is, if you don't recall from last year, though I do have some in the description of what it is. We are set to read 7, rather it be a short story, novella, or full novel of a Gothic romance book. We have 7 prompted categories that will tell us what we need to pick the book based on. So that's what my categories I'm ready to give you will be, and then the book I chose for that category. All right, let's jump into it. So, prompt 1, Dracula. Read a Gothic story with a vampire love interest. I'd like to toot my horn that I came up with that lovely category. I picked Blood Orange and Black Rose by Karina Haley. And right now I'm set to try to read the duology for this specific category, but we shall see if I have the time. They are still beefy books. I believe the first one is 600 and something pages, or 500 something pages. They're still beefy a little bit, so it's not so bad. I mean, I expected at least some of them to be beefy. Now, I chose these books because the love interest is a vampire. Actually, these particular books are Dracula based, so that's even better, right? I'm excited to read it, so looking forward to what these are about, because I don't believe I've read anything from Karina Haley, and I'm excited to be introduced to yet another author I was unaware of, which is like, how did that happen? Category 2, Wuthering Heights. Read a Gothic story featuring a large estate. You would not believe I actually had an issue finding one. There are plenty with estates in it, but I don't know why I had an issue. Anyway, my choice is Curse of the Moonseed Manor by D. Lieber. And it sounded very, very interesting. I need them to be interesting, let's just be honest. I did manage to DNF one book last year, and I don't DNF books, so it was a little weird for me for the first time for it to occur. It was just too boring, and it was too many info dumps, not about the plot. So that's what threw me off of the one book that I DNF last year. I replaced it with another book, so that's whatever. Category 3, Jane Eyre. Read a Gothic story featuring a governess. Oh my god. Oh my god, was it difficult for me to find one. Like, featuring a governess. Now, I didn't want to necessarily read anything that was like super, super, super old. And a lot of the stories currently, no one's writing governesses in them. Because I don't know if anyone has a governess any longer. It's not exactly a thing. So you don't get stories written that often unless people do, of course, doing historical pieces or whatever. So I did manage to finally find something that would fit me and fit the prompt category. And it's a classic. And I read it when I was a child. So I'm hoping I still like it. And it's The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, which everyone knows, The Turn of the Screw. So, I'm going to read that. It's one of the classic ones that I have in here, written in like 18 something. So it is old, and a classic that most people probably have read. And I did read it when I was a child, but it's been a long time, and I'm a different being at this point. So let's see how that goes. Category 4. Tule Witch. Read a Gothic story featuring a BIPOC main character. One of my favorite categories because I always love to search for Gothic stories with people of color, which actually is few and far between. Not surprising. I think me and Aphrodite will have to do something about that. I picked Song of the Dawn by Angela J. Ford. I'm happy to say Angela J. Ford has a few books in her repertoire that are Gothic romance stories featuring characters of color. So, I picked another one of her books, which I did read one of her books last year for this category. And I didn't get a chance to read more, so I figured this is a great time. So I'm looking forward to reading her stuff because I did love her other book that I read, Music of the Night, which was a mixture of Phantom of the Opera meets Beauty and the Beast, a Gothic romance with some fantasy in there. So very good. I think I gave that 5 stars, I believe. So I'm looking forward to reading this one because I don't think I'll dislike it at all. Category 5. Gaywyck. Read a Gothic story featuring LGBTQ plus main character. I found Mort by Loki Renard. I love the name. I love the author name. Like, who cannot like Loki as a name? Hello. So I'm excited about this one because the story sounds very, very intriguing. I'm not really telling you anything about these. You can always check them out. But because we're going to have like we have a get-together after the fact, like a live get-together where we all talk about the books. And I do some reviews on them on my channel. So that's when I'll talk more about them. I'm not even going to read the blurbs or anything. But these are the ones that I'm going to be reading. So Mort looked really good. So I'm like, okay, let's go. Category 6. The Moonflower. Read a Gothic story featuring an exotic setting. I went with Soletta by Vivian Rain. It actually has a second book to it, which I want to read as well, called Silencia. So I'm really gonna. It's exotic setting. I believe is in. I can't remember the place, but I want to say it's somewhere Spanish leaning. So I'm quite intrigued by the story, about the plot that I read. So looking forward to that one as well. I don't know if I had a difficult time finding one with an exotic setting because you kind of really have to check into it and make sure that it is. I did look it up and Google it. So a few things came up, but some were not really. But this one came up and I really love the cover too. And the cover of the second one as well that I showed you here. So I'm actually interested, and I save all these authors as I come across them because I've never read anything by Vivian Rain. That's my selection for that category. Category 7, Wife in the Attic. Read a retelling of a classic Gothic story. I found and chose Hollow, which is a retelling. Are you ready? Of Sleepy Hollow. I was so shocked to find this and pleasantly surprised because I love Sleepy Hollow. Plus, it is a duology. And the duology, second book is here. And that one's called Legend. They are a little beefy. So I'm not going to say I'm going to read both of those because then I would have to, like, multiple categories that have 2 books. Like the Black Orange and Black Rose, which I'm kind of dedicating myself to read both of those. But then this one has 2. And then Soletta, it has a second book that's kind of duology, so you kind of don't know what's going to happen situation. So I'm really like, I keep picking these books that are duologies, and I didn't realize it, so I picked them, but I got to read them, so it's like, So if I'm inclined and somehow manage the time that I would do, so I have 7 books, well, I'm reading 8 books right out the gate, but if I had time, I would read 10, because it'd be the other 2 categories have to do another book to the first one. So anyway, we'll see. I don't know if I'm that ambitious because I only have the month. So it's February when we do the Gothic Hearts Challenge. So plus I'm currently in a group that I read books and, you know, their arcs and things like that. So I have 2 that I have to finish. Plus I'm reading Carney by Regina St. Clair. So I need to finish that. So I'm in the middle of reading a lot of stuff. Plus I'm writing right now, which I usually don't read and write at the same time when I'm in the projects, but I'm doing my poetry collection. So that's coming to an end because it needs to get edited and then formatted because it releases in February for Romance Month, everyone. The last category, number 8, is again, like I mentioned, to make a book cover featuring yourself. I featured me in 3 different ones. Here they are. I don't know which one you'll like best, but I kind of liked all 3, so I'm kind of just going to keep them because I love them. And Regina had hers, which is here. And E.D. Lewis's cover, which is here. Both very awesome. Good job on those. Aphrodite, this is hers. Very nice as well. Dahlia D's ebook cover featuring herself in a Gothic story. Very nice as well. And Elizabeth Sagewood. So everyone did great with their book covers with themselves on them, featuring them in a Gothic story, which is really cool. I always love doing that. So fun. But yeah, so that's the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge that I have coming up. If you're interested in joining just so you could read along, and then when we do the live, you can come in and talk about what you read, please do take up the mantle. It is for February. So we usually probably last year, our live was in March because we were finishing up everything into February. So yeah, give it a go. If you want to try to take on the challenge, in the description I will have all the categories so you can find some books based off of those and join in, and then you can be at the live to talk in the chat about what you read and such. We'd love to have you. So I will see you soon, and happy reading. Welcome to the Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge Year 2. See you soon and stay scared.